Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MTG Place podcast. I'm your host, Corey, and with me, like always, is James. How's it going, James?
Doing good here. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. I've been drafting on Arena, so that's
Hell
been
yeah. Pretty normal for you.
Yeah, I've liked the set so far.
Yeah.
I think I have like a 58% win rate right now or something.
Nice.
So,
hell yeah.
All right, so today we're going to talk about our first thoughts on the limited format for the March Against the Machine. But before we do that, we want to tell a couple ways you can support us. First one is TCG Player affiliate link. We know you're going to buy some Magic cards anyways, so might as well click the link from our show notes or on our website. Before you do so, lets them know that we sent you over there. Helps support our podcast. Second way is directly on Patreon. You can sign up for as little as a couple bucks a month, and you can get cool perks like chatting with us at Discord, playing Commander with us, and all sorts of other things. You can see my trophy decks. I post the lists in there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start off with a new segment, kind of. We're going to do pack one, pick ones. So I'm going to have James read the pack. I'll give my insights since I play limited quite a bit more than he does.
Yes, that's very true. All right. So we have two packs. You want me just to go one pack at a time?
Do one and then the other, yeah.
Okay. So our first one we got here is Invasion of Twalata, which is one of the battles. It is 3 white and a black. It comes into play with 5 of the defense counters. And then it's when enters the battlefield, return target
permanent card.
Yeah, permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. That one's kind of small.
Yeah, and then it flips into an enchantment that makes a 1/1 every turn and gives your tokens like Pulse Impulso and Lifelink or something.
Yeah, it's oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I can't see it on here. So, the next
so this is like a bomb. Obviously you're taking this rare out of every card in this pack.
Yeah, because the rest of this pack is
if we pretend for the next cards, we'll talk about them all and we'll pretend like we didn't open this rare.
Yeah, because that's like an auto pick pretty much for the set. So yeah. So that's the rare, and then we have the uncommons. The first one is Kami of Whispered Hopes. It is 2 and a green for a 1/1 spirit creature. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a permanent you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on that permanent instead.
You get an extra one.
Basically, you get an extra. And then you tap it. Add X mana of any one color where X is Kami of Whispered Hope's power.
So this card has been mediocre to me. Like the actual green-white +1/+1 counter deck does not seem very good unless you get like a lot of the bombs for it.
Right.
So like the only time I would play this card otherwise is if I was short on mana fixing for the 5 color deck, which is actually like a decent archetype in this, is playing 5 colors.
Which is unusual, by the way.
Yeah, and you pretty much have to be base green to do that because you need the mana fixing.
The ramp, yeah.
But outside of that, like this card's just bad.
Yeah. The other uncommon here is Norn's Inquisitor. It is 1 and a white for a 1/1 creature Phyrexian Knight. When Norn's Inquisitor enters the battlefield, incubate 2, and then whenever a permanent you control transforms into Phyrexian, put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Yeah, so Norn's Inquisitor is actually a solid 2-drop. It's very good in the black-white deck. You can actually play it in like any white deck. Just if you have it out, it's nice to be able to transform your 2/2 into your incubate 2 into it'd basically be a 3/3 because it gets an extra 1/1 counter.
Yeah,
And
it's
the three
nice.
threes are nice because it blocks every other card that makes incubate 2. So
Yep.
your 3/3 is bigger.
I'm guessing there's a lot of those, so
Yeah,
this
there's
is
a
gonna
lot of
a
incubate 2
good counter
cards.
for that. Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like a solid card in general, for sure. And then the rest of the commons. So the first common is Vanquish the Weak. It is 2 and a black for an instant. Destroy target creature with power of 3 or less.
So this is probably the like mediocre removal. It's better than like the 5-6 cost removal, but it's not as good as there's a couple 2 drops, and there's like the 2 mana -2/-2 second creature gets -6/-6. That's better than this. The 4 mana
That's
destroy
pretty good.
anything is better than this. And then I would take the 3 mana with Convoke -3/-3 over this. But this is probably like the fourth or fifth one that you would take for kill spell. So it's decent because it
Right.
kills probably about 60% of the creatures.
Yeah. Like it's like a more expensive bolt, basically. So
Yeah, it just can't kill their bombs, but you
yeah,
can get rid of any other annoying thing.
for sure. Next one is Thrashing Frontliner. It is 1 and a red for a 2/2. It's a Phyrexian Vishino creature with trample. Whenever Thrashing Frontliner attacks a battle, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
So the red green deck sucks, which is the battle deck. Like it's just not good. And red is actually just a support color in this. They're like in this set, like red in general is probably the weakest color in the set.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Like I
Usually
mean
red's like
they
really
have
aggro.
like 5 cards that are really good, like and some gold cards that are good, but the mono red cards, there's only like 5 that like have over a 50% win rate. Like
Oh
it's
damn,
crazy.
that's rough. That's rough. Next is Wildwood Escort. It is 4 and a green for a 3/3 creature that's an elf warrior. When Wildwood Escort enters the battlefield, return target creature or battle card from your graveyard to your hand. If Wildwood Escort would die, exile it instead.
So this has been better than I thought it would be, mainly because of the when it when it enters, you get a card back. Because like if they kill your bomb, you just play this. You have a 3/3, and then you get your best card back. Um, so it's good in that scenario. It's pretty good in the 5 color deck too, because of that. Because you usually have a lot of like multicolored bombs then.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but it does cost 5 mana, so like you
Yep.
don't
It's a
want a ton
lot.
of these. Like definitely the first one you'd probably take.
Yeah. Not 4.
Yeah.
Next one is Alabaster Host Intercessor. It is 5 and a white for a 3/4 Phyrexian Samurai creature. When Alabaster Host Intercessor enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls until Alabaster Host Intercessor leaves the battlefield. Then it has Plane Cycling 2.
So this of the land cyclers is the best one because late game it actually impacts the battlefield a lot,
Yeah.
and it does have the plane cycling. The other land cyclers I've been tending not to prioritize, other than the black one is pretty decent too, but this one is definitely the best one.
Right. All right. Next we got Zolfrin Shapecraft. It is 1 and a blue for an instant. Target creature has base power and toughness of 4/3 until end of turn, and then draw a card.
So this has been way overperforming compared to what these cards normally do, just because of the fact that like blue is the best color in the set by far. Like you want to be in blue.
Yep.
Like all of the blue something decks are good. Blue white being the best deck. Um, and this is also just really good to play on like an incubate token because your 0/0
Just
becomes
be
a 4/3,
huge.
and then you get the 2/1/1 +1/+1 to 2/2, from the counters. So your incubate token becomes like a 6/5.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's crazy good in a combat trick for that. Plus,
Yeah,
it
that's
replaces
cute.
itself by drawing a card.
Yeah, nice cantrip too, and only has 2. Like it's not expensive either. Next, we have Timberland Ancient. It is 4 green for a 6/5 treefolk creature with reach and trample, and it has forest cycling 2.
Yeah, this is like probably the fourth on my list, or third. No, it's probably third for the land cyclers. I tend not to play this. I have played it a couple times when I was playing the 5 color deck, just because I had wanted another land thing. It can be good because it has reach. It can stop a lot of flyers, but
Yeah,
you basically don't want to force cycle it, and then you're just playing 6 for a 6/5, which is with reach and trample, which is just like mediocre compared to all the other stuff you
Yeah,
could
there's a
do with six
lot of
mana.
good green cards in this set.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of like 2 and 3 drops with like transform abilities that you could just spend your mana on instead.
Yeah, exactly. Next we got Fertilit's Favor. It is 3 and a green for an instant. Target player searches their library for a basic land card, puts it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffles. Put 2+1/+1 counters on up to 1 target artifact or creature.
Yeah, so this is like mediocre mana fixing. If you're playing the 5 color deck, you might play this. Otherwise, I don't play this like at all. Um, I have had it, beat me a couple times with combat trick with a 2/1/1 counters on it, but like I also had to beat me once where I had one card in my deck and he figured out it was land and made me search for a land. And I was like, really? But usually I'm not playing this card unless I'm like the 5 color deck. And in which
Yeah,
case, I'm only if I'm playing this, I don't have great mana fixing in that deck.
yeah, yeah. Next, we got Searing Barb. It is 2 in a red for a sorcery. Searing Barb deals 2 damage to any target. If it's a creature, it can't block this turn. Incubate 1.
This card's just bad. Like it's very bad. Like a 2 damage doesn't kill most things.
No.
Like it not being able to block doesn't matter unless you're being super aggressive, which is more the white decks. Like white red is in general is not that good. Like you probably want to be like white black, white blue, So like
Mm-hmm.
and red's the worst color, like I said. So like you're not picking this. Just don't
Yeah.
take it. Don't put it in your deck.
Next, we got Assimilate Essence. It is 1 in a blue for an instant. Counter target creature or battle spell unless its controller pays. Is that 4? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
4.
So unless they pay 4. If they do, you incubate 2.
Yeah, so this is actually very good counterspell because it hits creatures or battles, which is a majority of most player decks. Like
Yeah.
most decks, like if you do play non-creature spells, a lot of times they're battles in this set because there's so many different battles in the set. And it's great because it's 2 mana counter it, so you can counter their big thing, you can counter their battle, and if they do pay the 4, you get a rebate because you get an incubate 2 token.
Yeah. It's not bad. So you
So
still get something out of it.
yeah, it's a solid counter spell.
Yeah. And it's only 2 as well, which isn't bad. It's a cheap counter spell. Next we got wait, this is an uncommon.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
the
this is supposed
Multiverse Legends. They put one in every pack.
Oh, okay. I should have said this sooner. Jury Master of the Review. It is a black and a red, or Rakdos, for a 1/1 legendary creature that's a human shaman. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on Jari. When Jari dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target.
Yeah, so like this is great in the red black sacrifice deck. Outside of that, you're not playing this. It's literally a
Yeah.
gold card for that deck. Um,
It's
like
literally made
here,
for it.
here I would probably be if I wasn't taking the rare. I would probably be taking a Simulate Essence or the Alabaster Host. Those are the
Yeah.
best 2 cards in my opinion.
And the very last one in the pack is Order of the Mirror. It is 1 in a blue for a 2/1 human knight creature. It has pay 3 and a
White Phyrexian.
Phyrexian white.
And
Transform Order of the Mirror, and then it turns into like a 3/3 that I'm not sure if it has.
yeah, it's a
any
3/3
abilities.
with like flanking. Like when they block it, it gets -1/-1.
Oh, okay.
That card's been solid in the Knights deck because it's a decent 2-drop that you can flip into a 3/3 later that can be annoying. But again, it's like blue's where you want to be. So like this
Yeah.
would probably be like a decent pick, but it's like an average pick. So obviously you're
This would
taking
be
the
like
rare
a
first, then you'd probably
this would be like a
go.
wheel pick or two. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be, or like sometimes if you just get a bad pack, you might pick it. But
Mm-hmm.
so here I'd
For
probably
sure.
take, I'd definitely be taking the rare, but otherwise you take the Simulate Essence or the Alabaster Host. I'd probably take Vanquish the Weak after those two, and then probably the Shapecraft or the Order. So Order's probably like in the middle of this pack right now.
Yeah, for sure. And then Jury only for playing black red.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
which is why you're not going to first
yeah,
first pick it, because
no, because you
like you
don't
don't
know what
want
you're
to
playing.
lock yourself into black red right away. Like if you're going to
Yeah,
first pick a dual card, you want it to be a rare, like the rare is, and the rare
like
is,
one of the best
and
ones. Yeah,
this rare wins you the game, like because it brings you anything back, and then when you do flip it, you're getting a 1/1 like I think flyer every turn, or 2/1 flying
yeah,
lifelink
which
every
is
single
really
turn.
really
Like
good, especially in sealed.
yeah,
Because flying just flying in general wins games. Like period. Because if you have a flying deck and they don't have blockers for flyers, then you just win. Like that's all there is to it. So that's the first pack. So then we have one more here. So this one, well, the rare in this pack would be pretty good too. It's Omnath, Locus of All. It is Wooburg, with the black of the Wooburg being a Phyrexian black. It is a legendary Phyrexian elemental creature that's a 4/4. If I'm gonna put this on my bigger screen to actually read it. If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card if it has 3 or more color mana symbols in its mana cost. If you do, add 3 mana in any combination of its colors and put it into your hand. If you don't reveal it, put it into your hand.
yeah. So basically, it's a 5 mana 4/4. You can't lose unspent mana, and you draw an extra card. It's an okay card. Honestly, I don't. This isn't the card that's gonna make me go into 5 colors. This is a Omnath I would take if I already was in the 5 color deck.
Okay.
I would
Yeah.
take it, but I'm not going to pack one, pick one, and force 5 colors on this. The 2 cards that would maybe make me consider that would be the Invasion of Alara, the 5 color one.
Yeah, that one's really
That's
good.
the
Yeah.
card you really want to be in 5 colors for. Like that one, if you pick that, you're going 5 colors. And then Niv-Mizzet is pretty good.
Yeah.
You get the Niv-Mizzet.
Makes sense.
So this one, like, if you're already in 5 colors, you take it. But if for pack one, pick one, I probably wouldn't take this.
All right. So then for our uncommons, we got Storm, the Seed Core. It is 2 green for a sorcery. Distribute 4+1/+1 counters among up to 4 target creatures you control. Creatures you control gain vigilance and trample until end of turn.
So I have played this card and it's been decent. But again, the green white deck is not that good. So like where I've had this be decent is I was actually in a 3 color deck, and this was like my win con. Like I was playing aggro, and this was just throw 4/1/1s and give them all trample vigilance.
Right.
But at that point, you could just play Inspired Charge.
Yeah.
Which is almost a similar thing. So it's okay card. I'm not taking it first pick though, for sure.
Right. Next one is Surge of Salvation. It is a white for an instant. You and permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Prevent all damage black and or red sources would deal to creatures you control this turn.
So this is 100% sideboard card. Like if I take this, I'm putting it in the sideboard. If I'm playing against black red, I would probably board it in. But
You throw it in.
otherwise, I don't think 1 mana you have hexproof is worth it. Like to save one thing for 1 turn is like whatever.
Right.
So.
And then we got Yargi Glutton of Urborg. It is 4 and a black for. Or wait, is this
Yargle?
supposed to be a flip for something?
What, Yargle?
Yeah. Or no.
No,
never
it's a
mind.
multiverse legend card.
Okay. Yargle Glutton of Urborg. It is 4 and a black for a 9/3 legendary creature, Frog Spirit, and it's just a 9/3 for 5.
Yeah, don't take it. It's terrible.
Yeah, it doesn't have much going for it otherwise.
It's horrible. It's literally like the worst card you could possibly take. Don't take it.
It literally
like
dies.
The dream is you play this and like have a fling or something, but there's not. I don't even think there's a fling effect in the set, and if there is, it's not a good one. So like, just don't take it. Don't.
It literally dies to like that like mediocre kill spell that we had in the last like pack. Like that would be pretty sad. And there goes your bomb. And then the battle we have is Invasion of Ragatha. It is a battle that comes into play with 5 defense counters. And then it's when Invasion of Ragatha enters the battlefield. If It deals 4 damage to another target battle or opponent and 1 damage to up to 1 target creature. And then it turns into a 4/4, it looks like. It's
Yeah,
defeated.
it's not good. Um, if it was the other way around, where you did 4 damage to a creature and 1 damage to a player or battle, then it would be awesome. But
Yeah,
because it
way
deals
better.
4 damage to a battle or a player, like it's like whatever. I dome you for 4. Okay, who cares? And then I deal 1 damage to a creature. Not going to kill very many things with that.
No, like a mana dork, maybe.
Like I'm not taking the battle. And again, red is not that great of a color to be in.
Yeah, it's
So
a pretty weak color. All right, and then we're on to the commons. First one is War Train Slasher. It is 3 in a red for a 4/3 Wolverine dinosaur creature with menace. Whenever War Train Slasher attacks a battle, double its power until end of turn.
this is horrible. Like, I mean, you would think 4 for 4/3 menace that in the battle deck can be, an 8/3 for 4. Yeah, that's okay, but it's just that deck is not good enough, and you don't want to be playing this.
And it, again, has a
Like,
pretty small toughness.
like
Too,
it's like a
so it
D. Like
dies.
you would put it in if you have to,
Yeah,
but
if you're really needing it.
yeah.
Next is Inspired Charge. It is 2 white for an instant. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn.
So it's been solid in the aggro decks. Outside of that, it's not good. Like you're only going to play this in a deck where you aggro out a lot of tokens or something. Like the
Yeah.
deck that I actually did, like was wrecking with this was I had like 2 to 4 of those 2 mana put 2/1/1s into play, and then I had and then I had those knights that when they come in put another 2/2 in, and so then I was just like filling the board playing this swinging for win.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a creature-based deck, I feel like in Sealed, a lot of times, anything that can, like, blanket buff is usually pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely a decent card if you
Mm-hmm.
have, but I mean, you're gonna want to be able to consistently have 4 or 5 creatures out. So you're gonna
Yeah.
want cheap cards that put multiple creatures in, like put a lot of tokens in and stuff.
Right. Next, we got Bladed Battle Fan. It is 1 in a black for an artifact that's an equipment. It has flash. When Bladed Battle Fan enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. That creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Equipped creature gets +1/+0, and its equip cost is 1.
So I've had this played against me, and I'm always just like, whatever. You saved your creature one time.
Yeah.
Um, so like, I don't think it's good. I would not take it.
Yeah, it doesn't do a whole lot. Next, we got Chomping Kavu. It is 3 in a green for a 3/3 creature that's a Kavu. It has backup 1. And then the backup is this creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less.
So this is just a medium card. Like it's not very good in the decks that you want it because like you probably want it in like green red or green white, like some sort of aggro deck, but like those decks aren't very good, so I don't tend to take this very highly.
Yeah. Next up, we got Halo Charge Scab. It is 4 and a blue for a 4/4 zombie creature. When Halo Charge Scab enters the battlefield, each player mills 2 cards. Then you may put an instant sorcery or battle card from your graveyard on top of your library.
So this card's overperformed where I thought it would because it is 5 mana 4/4. But the reason for that is a lot of people are playing battles and good kill
Yep.
spells. So if you have 5 to 6 good spell like instant sorceries or battle cards, you might consider this. It's definitely its home is in the red blue spells deck, like red blue convoke deck. Like it's very good there. So it's like a medium card.
Yeah, good in certain situations. Next, we got Tidal Terror. It is 4 blue for a 5/6 octopus creature. When Tidal Terror attacks, you may tap 2 other untapped creatures you control. If you do, Tidal Terror can't be blocked this turn. It has Island Cycling 2.
So again, usually don't need the island cycling because there's decent enough fixing, especially with the dual lands being common. But it can be good in like the convoke deck because you can get an unblockable 5/6. Um, but it's probably like, again, like ranked with like the green one, where like it's good but not great.
Yeah.
And most of the time you're going to want to play it for 6 mana. You're not going to want to cycle it away.
Yeah. Next up, we got Vengeance Earth. It is 1 in a green for an instant. Target creature or land you control becomes a 4/4 elemental creature with basic in addition to its other types. With haste in addition to its other types. I can't read. Until end of turn. It must be blocked this turn if able.
So this card's not great either. If
Yeah.
you make a 4/4 that they have to block, like they'll probably have a Death Touch guy out or enough stuff to just kill it. And if you use it on your land, you're probably going to lose your land.
Yeah, and you're just sad. Next, we got Core Halberd. It is a white for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. Its equip cost is 1.
So this card's been like way awesome.
That seems really
like,
good. Yeah.
Like 1 drop, and then it's just equip 1. You give all your creatures can get +1 vigilance, basically. I've been really impressed with this card. Out of this pack, I'd probably take the Core Halberd right now. Like it's probably that, and then Omnath, and then I'm forcing myself to be 5 colors. Like,
yep. And then we got another Order of the Mirror, which we had in the other pack as well.
Which is also decent. Like that actually probably be my second pick, and then it'd be Omnath, just because blue white is such a good deck. But I'd probably take the Halberd here because you could go into any white colored deck. Like black white is good.
Yeah.
Blue white is good.
The Halberd is by far like the best performing card in this pack. Yeah. And I'm one who doesn't play Seal very often, and that just seems like a really good card.
Yeah, like anything that's one drop in the set is pretty good, actually. I mean, obviously the Surge of Salvation is not great, but like 1 drop that sticks on the board is pretty good.
For sure. So those are our practice packs, if you will.
Yep.
So now we're going to look at some color. We touched on this a little bit, but the performance of the colors.
Yeah, so we're going to take data from 17 Lands. Those of you that don't know, 17 Lands is an app you can install that will track data for you. So it'll track your win-loss rate, and it'll take your data to add to the data set as well, and you run it in the background while you're running Arena.
Yep.
And it takes all the data and does it. And so 17 Lands users in average are better than the average player because they are trying to improve their limited game, right? That's what they're looking at the stats for. So, like, because I think they said the average 17 Lands user is someone with like a 50% win rate or better usually.
Yeah.
So
which is good.
That means these are the cards. Like, so when you tell you something, these are the cards that the players, like the top half, 50% of players, basically think are good, which means the majority, like, you should probably be prioritizing them. But we'll start with the color performance, so like the decks in general. So the monocolored decks in general have a 56% win rate if you play monocolor, with mono blue being the best at 67%. Like I said, blue is the best color.
Blue is just bonkers, yeah.
And like black is pretty good. That's at almost 60% as you play mono black.
Yeah.
Mono red is like almost 51, like barely over 50. So like I said, red is not good.
Yeah.
Mono green actually surprisingly is a 58% win rate. I don't know why. I haven't ever gotten enough cards to play mono green, so we'll have to see.
Fair enough. I mean, green does tend to be very brutish, so I can see it.
And then we got monocolor and splash decks. So splash is if you play 3 or less cards of a color. If you play 4 or more, they're considering it a 2-color deck. So mono white splash 57%, mono blue splash 58%, mono black splash 55%, mono red with a splash 42%. That's how bad red is.
Red is so bad.
Not good. Mono green with a splash 56%. And then 2-color is a 57% win rate. That's most people are going to be in the 2-color decks. So like I said, blue-white, I think, is the best deck, is 58.1%. This actually has blue-black being 58.9%, which is probably the second best deck, in my opinion. So those 2 decks are the best 2, for sure.
It's bonkers. Yeah, blue-white, blue-black.
And again, they're both blue. So
yeah, makes sense.
Then you got black green is 56%, blue green 56%. Um, Green white is actually at 55, which is surprising to me. I think black white is better than that. Um, but you have to see,
Yeah.
Two color splashes. You got 56% for black blue with a splash. I'm guessing that's just because there's probably one of those three color bombs that's black blue something.
Most likely. Yeah. I think there was a
So
couple.
same with like is it splash is pretty decent. But most of the
Yeah.
time I'm not doing two color splash. I'm usually doing two color or three color plus.
Yeah.
So then speaking of three color, on average at 52%, the best being Sultai, which is blue, black, green. And obviously, you're only going to play that if you draft one of the bombs in those colors.
Yep.
And then there's like three color splash, but don't do that because your win rate just isn't
That just
great. And then
tanks your win rate.
five colors actually only have 47% win rate, but it is a playable deck because there's enough cards.
There's a lot of stuff that plays into it for sure. And there's a lot of mana filter.
Yeah.
And
like I said, it says all decks on here. The average win rate is 54.9%. So like I said, that means the average user on here has about a 55% win rate.
Yeah, which is pretty good for like draft.
So now if we get into some actual card specifics here, with a card performance, they track crazy amount of stats on here. Like so they'll tell you what color it is, what rarity it is, how many have been opened on Arena. The ALSA, which is average last seen at, the higher that is, the more likely you are to wheel that card in a pack. So that's interesting. It'll tell you how many games it's been played, how many times, what the win rate is if you main deck it, what the win rate is if you have it in your opening hand. What we're going to go off of is games in hand win rate, which basically means if you draw the card in the game, do you win? So the best card in the entire set is Sunfall, and that card is just bonkers. Like I've literally never been able to beat that card when someone plays it. And when I played it, the deck that I played it in, I went 7-2.
Hey,
So
there you go. That's very fair.
That's the board wipe that leaves an incubate X for X's all the creatures that were exiled.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, the new Phyrexian Rebirth.
Yeah, it's bonkers because like okay, they have no cards in their hand. You wipe their board, and now you have like a 9/9, a 10/10, and they can't do anything about it. Like unless the top deck a kill spell, like
they're just screwed.
And then the one that's been fighting with it back and forth, which is another card I've drafted and I just won the game every single time I played it. It's at 67%. Is the old school Elish Norn.
Yep. Elish Norn is just good, man. Like
just giving all their stuff -2, and all your stuff +2 is just nutty.
It's so good. It's good in Commander. Of course, it's good here.
Yeah. Then we have the first blue card, which is Chrome Host Seed Shark, has a 65%. That's the one whenever you play a non-creature spell, you incubate X or X its mana value. So you just build around that.
Yep. Incubate deck.
And then you got the Boonbringer Valkyrie, which is the absurd flying for strike lifelink 4/4 with backup 1.
Yeah. God, that card. That's really good. It's the better Sarah Angel.
Yeah. And then you get the Breach the Multiverse, which is the one where everyone mills 10 and then you put a creature card into play. So that's pretty cool. Yep. Or you get the two best creatures, actually. One from each graveyard. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Then you got the new Vorinclex, and Glissa is really good too. Then the Zephyr Singer, where it makes all your stuff flying. And then Shieldred, Atali, Chandra, Borborygamos.
This is all stuff that I definitely would expect to see up here because, like, that Borborygamos is just silly. The freaking Hidetsugu and Kyrie is silly. Like, Shieldred's stupid. Just like, just good stuff.
So now, if you want to know the first uncommon on the set, it's Invasion of Amonkhet, which is the battle that when it enters, each player mills 3 cards, and then each opponent discards a card. and then it has 4 defense, and it flips into the convert that becomes a 4/4 zombie of a copy of anything in a graveyard. And there's a 62% win rate. Like that card is
That
just
seems like a
nuts.
pretty good
It's an
card.
uncommon that wins you the game. Like it's higher than a
Yeah.
lot of the rares.
Yeah, which is insane.
And then the best common, which people are comparing it to Inspiring Overseer from the last set that was just bonkers, or from New Capenna or whatever those bonkers, is Preening Champion. That's the blue, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 flyer that puts a 1/1 creature into play when it enters. So you get a 1/1 and a 2/2 flyer for 3 mana. That's a 62% win rate for a common.
That like opening basically is insane. Like if you open with that, basically,
yeah, you're taking it. You're taking as many as you want.
That's so much like power on the field. It's literally a 2-for-1 card.
Yeah, it's crazy good.
Like that's awesome.
So yeah, those are some of the top cards. Again, you can check out 17lands.com. It's run by Circovitz.
This stuff's really helpful.
He writes a lot of articles. He has a podcast, I'm pretty sure, where he talks about stuff as well. He's also on like the Limited Resources podcast a lot. So it's a lot of data. I mean, again, you can only take the data with a grain of salt because, like,
it's really just based on what has been happening.
Yeah, what has been happening? And it's like, yeah, this might have a 70% win rate, but like if I open Sunfall Pack 3 and I've drafted all red cards or all green cards, whatever, I'm not going to necessarily pick that unless I can splash that easily.
You're going to have trouble putting it in, especially since it's a double white card. That's a hard card to splash. So,
right.
But yeah, just some cool tips and tips and tricks. There we go. It's late. I'm tired. Especially for like someone like me who's not as versed in this format. This is very helpful. Good resource to kind of figure out, maybe look at this before you go into your draft or sealed event and kind of know what you're looking for.
Yeah, and it's nice just to have it, track your trophy decks and everything just on Arena, so you can go back and look like, oh, how did I do last, season?
It's a nice little resource of your progress, which is good.
All right, well, that's the show.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.